Hey everybody, my name is Modi Goswami and I'm going to be your new Chief Research Officer. Now, as this is something we haven't really done before at ACC or any really clubs at ACC, I have created a short guide of what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and how I can help. So, firstly, I want you to take a look at this image. It says research at ACC, and there's sort of infinite possibility. Because the truth is, research is a lot like art. You find some topic that you want to work on or that someone else is working on and you want to join. And whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, you work on it. Whether it be through coding, whether it be through some other thing, however you do it. Research, for instance, in computer science is obviously going to be done through coding. Research is a creative endeavor. And let's not forget that research is not like doing a math problem. You're not going to get the same answer. In fact, the vast majority of the time, you're not going to get exactly what you're looking for. And that's what makes it so unique. So, yeah, infinite possibility. Let's move on. So, this slide sort of covers what I'm going to do as the Chief Research Officer. So, for one, I'm going to organize research labs. So, what's a research lab? Well, a research lab is essentially a place where research of a specific kind is done. And the reason that this exists is because in traditional universities like UT, what they have is they have a lot of different subjects that they can focus on. So each specific lab will do their specific projects. So this is really just a way to split up the tasks so that we have a more efficient structure. So I'll be creating those and I'll be organizing them. Right now, there are no barriers of entry to any labs, but in the future, if we have enough participants and if we have a club that has produced research in the past, we might start some sort of barrier to entry. You have to be, but that has not been implemented yet. Secondly, creating groups. So essentially, what we want to have is we want to have groups of people who are interested in doing research, and that's where I can help. I know, when I speak to people, I can understand people's distinct interests, and since I have experience in a research setting, I can put that to use, and I can sort of create groups. I can help create groups. And the other thing is I'm going to be leading what we call focus projects. So as a club, we can all have our distinct research interests, and we can do our own projects. And I'm not gonna lead someone else's project unless they specifically don't want to. But what I will be leading is the focus projects, which is something that I think we all work on together as a club. There's a couple of them right now. I'll get to them. And yeah, I'll be organizing them. I'll obviously be participating. I'll be creating, and I'll be telling us, what we want to strive for. And I think with the first capstone project that we do, we can base other projects off of it. So, okay, well, you're like, this guy's telling me a lot of stuff. Why would I listen to him? What experience does this guy have? So for me, I did some research at the University of Toronto and at Texas State with the University of Brasilia. They call it Unibe. I hope I pronounced that right. It's either Unibe or Unibe. I think it's Unibe. And the work experience, I did a machine learning engineering internship at the Florida Rocket Lab. So it's nothing super impressive, but I know how these work. I know how they're structured, and therefore I think I would be a suitable candidate for this. Well, not candidate. That's why I'm the chief research officer now. Anyway, so this is going to be our first capstone project. It seems really complicated right now, but I promise you it's not going to be that bad. And when we all work on it together, we're going to learn a lot. And I think that's why it's going to be so fun with all of, the entire membership of the CS Club is completely welcome to participate. This is going to be open to everybody to contribute, to discuss. So here's the idea. We want to have a LLM powered robot, which can describe its surroundings through visual input. So of course there are stages to this, and LLM stands for large language models. There's stages to this, right? We want to have physical blueprints and code blueprints. Like, what are we going to base this on? How is it going to be structured? Right now, I'm thinking, because we won't be able to compute whatever we have on the chip or whatever's running it. So what I think is we'll probably have something like a Raspberry, and we'll hook it up to some external computing resource. And then of course I'll design some in CAD. I'll talk to my friends at the Make It lab, I think, and I forgot what it's called. And yeah, we'll get that done. And then the code blueprints, right? How exactly is it going to work? What's going to be processed, and so on. And then we have, of course, once we have that already, once we have like a sort of good way to implement it, we have a set of steps, we have a blueprint, and we have the code ready. Then we can source the parts, the logistics, implementing it, and I'll take care of that. And then after that, of course, when we actually build it, we'll have to unit test, which is essentially making sure that each part of the code works as it's supposed to, and then error test, which is going to be just like messing with it and seeing what we can break. That's a lot of fun. It usually doesn't sound fun when someone says, "How do you break the thing you just made?" But I promise you, it's the most fun thing. You're like, "Oh, you can do this. What about this? What about that?" And eventually it breaks. And then you're like, "Okay, let's go fix it." And you make it better and better and better. And yeah, and then we get a new feature that we want to add, and we go back to stage 1, we build the blueprints for it, we implement it, and yeah, it goes on. So these are the labs right now. There's going to be 3, and these are completely free to join. There's going to be no barrier of entry, so everyone can join. We're going to have a machine learning lab, which is going to work with all the machine learning projects. We're going to have a graphics lab, which works specifically with non-machine learning graphics projects. And we're going to have the Atmo lab, which is just me working with stuff I like doing, and you guys can join. So the machine learning lab specifically, I think, is going to be the big lab. So this is going to be what we mostly focus on. It's going to be our flagship, so to speak. So I'm going to create a basic machine learning course. I'm going to talk about the mathematics behind it. And because it's research, ideas are really appreciated. If you look at this and say, well, here's something I want to know, please send a message. We're going to create channels and everything on the Discord for this, of course. And yeah, because I want to make sure that I have this suitable for a crowd so that all of you guys can participate and all of you guys can learn, because that's the end goal, right? I want everyone to participate in research, everyone who wants to, because it's a lot of fun and you learn a lot. And hey, if you have publications, it helps with job searches. So that's sort of that could be a light at the end of the tunnel if you're looking to sort of just grunt your way through this. But yeah, we're gonna have a weekly meeting for the machine learning lab. We're gonna have a weekly meeting at least, but then if we have other projects, then we'll have more meetings, and I'm gonna join every single meeting, for as long as I can. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I've modeled this after the greatest labs I've seen. I've modeled this after UCs and UT. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. So here's how you can help. You can read. So study as much of this as you can. Read up on it. Find research papers. If you're stuck on a research paper, you're like, well, what in the world is this saying? The abstract. Just like ping me or ping someone else, and we'll go through it. We'll discuss it, and we'll understand what it means. So please read. Secondly, study machine learning. There's courses online. If you have any questions doing those courses, be sure to ask. We're gonna have our own course out eventually, but I don't know how long that's gonna take because, of course, it's such it's such a large, all-encompassing topic. And this one is my favorite. Please provide research ideas. Whatever you work with, say for instance you're a nurse, or you want to be a nurse, or you know something about nursing, and you decide that this specific thing in nursing can be done better. Well, then you can search up, are there any things that do this thing better? And if the answer is no, then just suggest the idea and we'll see if we can implement it machine learning wise or something of that sort. Say you're, for instance, a mechanic and you're like, well, I can do X thing better. Well, search it up, see if there's a lot of competitors. If there's maybe like one, if there's like maybe 1 or 2 things, then you can suggest it. And yeah, I think that's the end. So the reason I left this one blank is because really research is a blank canvas.